So I'll give you a choice this morning. You want to stay bummed out about that game last night, or do you want to, maybe smile a little bit? Good morning to you. Good. Wednesday morning, I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins coming to you from Tampa, Florida. If you happen to be into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of the other two teams I cover, the Steelers and the Pirates. Oh, lightning, as the PA announcer here says. 6, Penguins 1. It wasn't anywhere near that close or compelling. A couple of things went really wrong early on. Unlucky stuff regarding Rickard Rakell. First time a blocked shot cracked his stick in half, allowed the Lightning to stay in the zone forever. They eventually poked one past Tristan Jarry. Another time, Rakell was just doing his job, following Jake Gensel to the net. A routine centering pass goes in off of Rakell's skate. Jarry was pulled after 4 goals on 7 shots, only one bad goal out of those 4. And yeah, off it went. So we can either talk about that or we can talk about something cool. And I'm feeling the cool thing because it is legitimately hot and, in my world anyway, miserable down here. I am not a Florida person. Third period comes along. It's 6-0. If you're the Penguins, you're trying to do, or not trying hard enough to do whatever just to save some face. And it's about 5 minutes in, and Boko Imama appears to lose his mind. Appears to just go off the reservation. He's chasing Brandon Hagel around the rink. When I say chasing, I'm talking about from one end to the other. I'm talking about a slash to the ankle, another slash across the leg, a shove to the back of the head, another slash, a knockdown push. This is all while Hagel's just trying to skate away, mind you. And then a final, rabbit punch with the left hand to the back of the head. As Boko's going to the box, I'm looking across the rink toward the bench to see Mike Sullivan just letting the invectives fly, okay? F-bomb after F-bomb. Now, I don't know if he's thinking what I'm thinking in the moment, that, wow, how can you just lose control like that? Because that's not who Boko's supposed to be. That's not his reputation. He's tough. He's anything but timid. But he also is known to have real situational awareness. So here I am thinking, okay, Boko's been thrown in the box and the head coach is furious. Whatever. And I'm completely wrong about everything. I mean, 100% of everything. And that includes being wrong about what I thought Boko was trying to avenge out there. See, Hagel, in the previous period, had put a hard check into Matt Grzelcyk into the Pittsburgh end boards. And Grzelcyk went down, and it didn't look great. He was apparently struggling to take a breath. He was down on all fours for a while. The athletic trainers come out. Everybody's starting to surround him. Heck, Hagel went over there to see if he was okay. And eventually, hockey players being what they are, Grzelcyk didn't even miss a shift. But guys have long memories in this game. A lot longer than just a period. So I'm making what I thought was a logical conclusion. Nope. I go into the locker room and I get some standard stuff that I need to produce my written content for DK Pittsburgh Sports. And I make eye contact with Boko. And you know how sometimes you can just tell when someone wants to be chatty? Well, I could tell. So I approach him and I say, he just wasn't going to turn around, was he? And I was referring to Hagel not once even acknowledging Boko's existence as Boko was chasing him all over the rink. And Boko said, no, he really wasn't. And it's then that I tried to actually figure out what happened. And I began, somewhat awkwardly, I'll confess after the fact, by sharing with him what I just shared with you, which was that I thought Hagel had put a clean hit onto Grzelcyk, made sure his shoulder was aligned, and even if the final effect wasn't side to side, that was the clear bodily intent, if that makes any sense. And he cut me off. He goes, no, wasn't that at all. He said, it was the same period. He's running around. He's still looking for more hits. I mean, it's 6-0. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't see that at all. But he did. And he does. It's part of who he is in his role. The game's out of control. He can't afford to be out of control. But he also doesn't want to see the other team taking extra liberties on top of what's already on the scoreboard. So he sees Hagel doing what the hockey players refer to casually as running around, and that means seeking out hits. Maybe it's to bolster their own hit numbers. Maybe it's to just show the coach who they are. Maybe it's just who they are. One way or another, it's 6-0. Just finish the game out. Or we'll make it uncomfortable for you to finish the game out. We talked for a little while longer. He expressed in much stronger terms his disdain for that type of behavior, and I walked away with a single thought. They can't let this guy go. It's been way too long since the Penguins have had someone like that, and to boot, he can skate, he can play a little bit, kill some penalties. He's not going to hurt you in the hockey sense. I am all aboard the Boko motive. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season. From Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Today's J1Q comes from TJ, who says, looking at the Penguins' potential lineup over the next couple of seasons, combined with available cap space, draft capital, and all that, the only current player on the Penguins that I see without a chair once the music stops is Ryan Graves. And seeing that Graves is owed $4.5 million for the next 4 seasons, and if Kyle Dubas can't find a trade partner, even if they retain salary, is a buyout a possibility? I know Dubas doesn't like buyouts, but even with minimal cap savings, it would be a space that opens up for Owen Pickering. I actually have a lot to say to this question, TJ, and you catch me in a good spot on this subject because Graves was really bad in Sunrise, getting scorched the way he did to the inside by Sam Reinhart. He was just as bad in this one, although it didn't result in a goal, getting scorched to the outside by Braden Point to create his own complete breakaway. He was, in the NBA, they call it posterized when somebody just dunks on you. Well, Point dunked on Graves coming up the rink. It was at the Pittsburgh blue line, and again, he didn't score because Alex Nedeljkovic stopped him. But wow, what a scene. What a scene. What a thing to have happen to an NHL defenseman. Never mind one that's got the contract that you describe. So a couple things to say to that. Graves can't play. He can't be part of this team on an active basis if that's how he's going to perform. And that's how he has performed for the better part of this season and for the entirety of last season, with no more than negligible micro traces of progress along the way. I don't care how much money is being spent. I don't care how much cap space is lost. I don't care, and it hurts me to say this, what a great kid this is. You would love to pull for a guy like Graves to do well, to come out of this. But I don't know that he can. And I definitely know that his niceness isn't relevant here. And I'm going to address a final point here within what you said. He doesn't need to be gone for Pickering to play. Pickering needs to play his way onto the roster. And by that, I'm talking about next training camp. And he will. Pickering's a better hockey player than Graves. Pickering's a better hockey player than Graves right now. This is what I think really needs to be understood by everybody after an event like last night. These Penguins are not the Penguins. They're not the 18 best skaters in the organization. They're not the 2 best goaltenders in the organization. Dubas has made no secret of having certain guys down there in Wilkes-Barre with an objective of winning or contending for even a Calder Cup in the AHL. They'll get extra games in. They'll get extra high-intensity work in. They'll get camaraderie in. They'll get the whole bonuses and benefits package that comes with it. And if they were to arrive as a group or even close to a group, meaning a couple guys here, 1 or 2 over there, another one in a month, then they'll have followed the one team whose pattern should be the most plausible for the Penguins to follow. That's the Capitals. This is exactly what Washington did. When they were surprising people early on this season, it wasn't just because Alexander Ovechkin could still score. It was because of all the other guys who'd come up pretty much as a pack and lifted Ovi up and lifted all their guys up, creating not only this magical chase of Wayne Gretzky's record, but also, the best team in the East. So if you want to analyze this stuff one game at a time, if you want to wonder why it is that the Penguins had a lousy morning skate here yesterday and Mike Sullivan yelled at them and pausing the session, or why they really appeared to fall apart in the game last night after a strong start, you know what? I went and asked Sullivan that question myself.
This obviously wasn't emblematic at all of how you guys have played of late, really, for several weeks now. What happened?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you. This team's played hard for a lot of games here. As I said, I thought we come out with the right intentions in the first period. But when you get down that many goals early, it's a tough mountain to climb, and especially against a team like that.
There it is. And for the most part, it doesn't matter. You want to see them finish with pride. You want to see them finish doing a lot of the right things. And you'd rather not see it all go tissue papery the way that it did in this one. Okay, whatever. Much, much, much more important within that game and the rest of the final 10 is to see what people have got, see what they show you. And yes, by God, I said Bokomotive. Did you hear that? Bokomotive. Didn't even plan that. For all I know, somebody's been calling him that his whole career. I have no knowledge of that. I'm claiming it as my own. Bokomotive. The line forms here, baby. Oh, man. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins, and we'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.